Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Many institutions make different find different ways to generate funds for the Mossad, and there's silent auctions and raffles. And I want to eventually get to a letter from the Rebbe, where the Rebbe is ma'ir in a very important halacha concerning these raffles. And I'll begin with quoting a din in the Shulchan Aruch from the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch in Hilchis Gzeila or Gneva Seif Lamed Aleph. There is the common statement that everybody knows, quoted from the Gemara, that a Mesachik Bekuvya is Pasal Le'edus. Mesachik Bekuvya, people usually translate it, people who play cards are Pasal Le'edus. And let me explain this a little, as it's written in Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. But the Alter Rebbe is talking about not as somebody who is trustworthy to say edus, rather is it stealing. So the Alter Rebbe, Hilchas Gzeila Gneva, Seif Lamed Aleph, HaMesachikim Bekuvya, those who play this game Kuvya. What is this Kuvya? Sha'osin Tnai B'neihem, people, they make a challenge, they make a debate, they make conditions. Shekol hanetzeach es chaveri ba'oses choik, yikach mimenu kach v'kach. We play a certain game. Whoever wins the game gets the money, gets a certain amount of money. It's like a bet. Harei ze gezel midivreim. Says the Alter Rebbe, that's not flat out stealing, robbery, but it's midirabbanon. It is a form of gezela. Why? Even though sheberatzin habalim lokach, even though he wasn't held up, he didn't hold a gun to his head and say, "Give me your money." The person was willing to take the risk and invest the money as a possible win, and it was ratzin habalim. It was the knowledge of the owners who gave the money. Hayu v'lokach mamein chavere bechinam derech schoik v'hitul. Since he got somebody else's money, A gets B's money in an easy way, freely, and in a jokey manner, harei zeh asur midivrei sofrim. The Rabbanan prohibits such an act. To take someone else's money, even if he knows, in a jokey manner, in a way of a game, the Rabbanan have a problem with it, and the Alter Rebbe referred to it as gezel midivreihem. And then the Alter Rebbe says, does it make a difference? Continues to say if it makes a difference if you're doing this game with a Yid or lahavdil doing it with a Goy. Now, when you talk about, this is from the perspective of Gzeila, that you got somebody else's money without the person really willing to give it to you. It's a light level of Gzeila. But then, as I mentioned before, Chazal also say that a Mesachik Bekuvya is Pasal Le'edus. He's not somebody who you could trust as an aid. And there's actually a Machlokes HaRishonim, the reason behind that. One opinion holds, as similar to what the Alter Rebbe said, and both opinions are actually hinted in the words of the Alter Rebbe, that usually there's a trickery going on. By the time the game is over, one guy wins and one guy loses his pants. The guy who loses his pants, he knew he took a risk, but he's not really happy with that he lost that money. So it's a form of Geneva, keeping somebody else's money. Gzeila. Whereas another opinion the Rishonim say that it's not so much Geneva, Gzeila, because after all, the person it's like the guy's giving you a present. The guy's willing to give you his money. He knew what he's taking a risk. Rather, the problem with these people is the people who play these games and cards and bets and all that are not oiskim b'yeshuvah shalaylam. They're not making the world a better place. They're dealing with stupidity. They're dealing with petty, non-kosher ways of making a living, and therefore people like that we don't give them too much power of trust. The nafkamina la halacha would be, what about a person who has a good job? A person who has a good paying job, and as a hobby, every once in a while, he plays cards. So it's not his parnasa. This is not the way how he makes a living. It's a hobby. If the reason is the first reason that this is a bad hobby to have because this is geneva, temporary and no temporary, you can't do it. But if it's because this is how you created the certain jobs that it's pasnish for you to have, this is not my job, this is just a hobby. And la halacha, again, even this is questionable halacha, if you could do it sometimes, or you shouldn't do it, or you shouldn't do it at all. It's up for grabs. The halacha, there are different opinions if it's something that could be done, and when obviously the person knows that he's giving money and there's a good chance that he will lose it. Let me tell you, I want to read a letter from the Rebbe. There was a raffle somewhere. I don't know the details, the background of where and when it happened, but they wrote to the Rebbe that there's going to be a raffle to win a ticket to come to New York, to come to the Rebbe, come to the oil. And there were, let's say, 20, 30, 40, 50 people participated a small amount of money, and the winner wins the raffle, a free ticket to New York. So the Rebbe responds back to the person who wrote in the letter, and the Rebbe says, since I see that you're on the committee of this raffle, I ask of you, please find the right proper words to tell all those who've invested whatever small amount they gave for a ticket. Please explain to them, ki l'cha'ira, al pi Shulchan Aruch, l'cha'ira, based on Shulchan Aruch, this type of raffle where one gains it all and everybody else loses, yesh bach shashta smachta ba'ofen de leikanya. There is a problem halachically, and some say that the person who won really doesn't get to keep the money. Va'al Kain, says the Rebbe, I ask of you, please tell all those who bought a raffle that when they buy the raffle, they're clearly verbally saying that hiskimu b'leiv shalom, they are committing full-heartedly lahaknois esma'isayim, to be ready to give away whatever money they invested. B'li kol shir, they want no part of it. They're ready to really give. If they don't win, it's a pure present. And if you want to go a step further, says the Rebbe, I'll even suggest something better. Harei toiv yia, better would even be if when one person wins the lottery, Chaim won the ticket to New York. So at that point, we're saying Chaim is the shliach for everybody else. Not only we are giving it to him as a present and it's his, let's make it even better. I am actually going because I don't have the time, but my representative, Chaim Shliach, Chaim will be my shliach to go for me. By doing that, you're avoiding any chash of this hagrola, this raffle being shaleik din. It might be a form of mesachik v'kuvia, etc., etc. Just another halacha where you have to know the details of the Shulchan Aruch to see how you have to be careful to do everything al pi din. Eshikoyach, and please join us again next week.